Death and life in the power of the tongue.
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue.
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue. Live your life, love Christ, do your best to
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue.
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue.
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue. Live your life, love Christ, do your best to
Speak life.
Hello and welcome back to another amazing episode of the Speak Life podcast. We are so excited to have you with us for another wonderful week. I am your host, Minister Phoenix, alongside my beautiful and amazing wife and co-host.
Hey guys, welcome again to the Speak Life podcast. This is your co-host, the one and only Shika. We are so excited that you're here with us this week.
We are definitely excited. You know, if this is your first time rocking with us, don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to comment so that you can be a part of the conversation. Shout out to all of our listeners, all of our subscribers. We appreciate y'all. You are the reason that we just keep going with this. So, you know, we definitely want to show y'all some love because we definitely love and appreciate y'all.
Yes.
Now, today is it's gonna be a little interesting. I say this every week because we jump into a lot of interesting topics. I can't help it if every week is interesting, and I always say this is gonna be an interesting week. This is gonna be an interesting week too. So don't be getting on me about you always saying it's gonna be an interesting week. But this week we are going to be talking about three words: jealousy, envy, and admiration. Now, I think that this is gonna be very interesting. So make sure you get your notebooks down so you can, grab some notes. And please, at the end of the episode, if you have something that you want to say, chime in, comment. We love the comments, and that's how we can keep these conversations going. Now, to get this episode started, we just want to get like a working definition of these three words. We want to put it in simple terms, like what is jealousy, what is envy, what is admiration. So ladies first. That's my way of deflecting. Ladies first.
I think, when I think of jealousy, I think of someone resenting someone because of their accomplishments. And that's what I think jealousy is, really, like just not liking someone just because of like what their life may look like, or what it may look like, through your lens. It doesn't matter if it's true or not, but
it doesn't matter if it's true or not.
Yeah. And envying, just being, I'm gonna use a word. Well, you know what though? It could be the same. It could mean the same where you resent someone. Like, I think resentment goes, for both of them. That's what I think. But also just not liking someone because of also their accomplishment, or it could be that you wish you had what that other person have, like, or it may be the house, it may be the job, it may be the car, like, oh, they don't deserve that, I should have had that. Stuff like that. Stuff? Or, oh, I want that. I want my house to be like that person's house, or something like that. And
what about admiration?
Admiration, honestly, you could see somebody with something and admire their hard work, admire them as a person and for their accomplishment. And it doesn't have anything to do with being jealous of them or envying, but it's just like, wow, I really admire you. I admire the way you carry yourself. I admire the fact that you work hard, and now look at you. You got this beautiful home. You got this nice car. You got this beautiful job. You're climbing up in your rank, whatever it is. You could admire that, but that doesn't mean that you're jealous or you're envying of the person. And sometimes, we get it confused a lot of times where people will, say, oh, they're jealous of me because of this, or they envy me. But, one can just really admire the fact that, you're doing well.
No, this one's a real tricky. I think this one's a slippery slope. It's kind of crazy because I feel like jealousy and envy are so close.
They are.
That oftentimes we really do get them confused. Now, when I think of jealousy, I just think of, someone just literally just hating on you because of what you got. They may not necessarily want it, but it's just like you got it and it's like, ugh. I just don't like you because you got that. I don't like you because you got long hair. I don't like you because your husband looked good. That was for you. You see how I did? I don't like you because your husband looked good. I don't like you because your wife has a beautiful smile. They just don't like you for something that you may have or you may have accomplished.
Or something that they may see that you're not even like really thinking about.
It could just be anything about you. They just don't like it.
Yeah.
And it's just because it's you.
We talked about it last week where it could be like something like,
it could be anything.
This person may look at you and see like, okay, you know,
it's
God's
like,
taking you somewhere in
you
life.
got potential.
You got potential.
I don't like you.
And I just don't like you because you have potential. It's
you
like,
got promise on your life. I don't like you.
It's just so silly to me.
But I think that nails down jealousy in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So if you was ever wondering, like, what does it mean to be someone to be jealous of you? They don't like you because something about you. They just don't like you.
Or it could be that, you know what, you're a little different. Or it could be that the things that bother most people may not bother you. And it's just like,
it could be anything.
It could be anything. Anything.
It could be anything. And because they're not like that, they don't like you because you are like that. So I think that's where jealousy comes in. Jealousy is just like straight hating. You just a hater.
Yeah.
Because you see something in me that you don't see in you and you don't like it.
Yeah.
You see somewhere where I'm trying to get to and you ain't trying to get there, or it's not, you don't see it happening for you, so you don't like it. That's my working definition
of jealousy,
of what it means to be jealous. Now envy is a little bit different. They like cousins, they come from the same family, but they ain't the same. They ain't exactly the same.
The same.
They might be siblings for all I know. I don't know, but they're definitely related. They definitely come from the same family. I don't know if they, the same, if they siblings or cousins, but they definitely related. When I think of envy is like, I see something going on in your life and I don't want you to have it because I want it. I want that. That should be me. That should be me. Oh, I like that Camry that you rolling in. That should be my Camry. Why don't I have a Camry? Why do I got to be riding in the Honda? I want a Toyota and I want your Toyota.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the envy piece comes in, where it's like, and if we wanted to get like biblical, I think that would fall under the line of, being covetous. You want and
because you see your neighbor with
this,
you
and
see you're like, wait, that shouldn't be you.
That should be me. That should be me in that big house. Why you got the big house? I deserve that big house, not you. Why you in that position? I deserve that. That should be my position.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm more qualified for that position in my mind. Because as you said, it ain't necessarily got.
It doesn't have to be true. No.
But because you in it, like nah, that shouldn't be me. You don't deserve that. That should be me.
Or it could be a job where it's like, okay, I've been in this job longer than you.
Longer than you.
You're the new person.
You're just walking up in here.
What are you doing?
What makes you think
you're not qualified for this position? Yeah.
I deserve this. You don't deserve this. You stepping out of your lane.
But favor is not fair.
Favor ain't fair. We talked about that in an early episode. Favor ain't fair. But, so that's where, my take on jealousy and envy, come in. I think out of all of these, admiration is the one that doesn't have to have any ill intent to it.
Positive, yeah.
Because you can admire someone, you can see what someone's doing, and you can celebrate what someone's doing, and you can genuinely be happy for someone if they're doing well. And in the same sense, and I want to make this clear, you can admire someone and you can want some of the things that they're accomplishing without being jealous. And without being envious.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, but I think it's a
mindset.
It is.
It's how do you feel? Like, okay, like I've been around people who I really admire them and their accomplishments, right? And when I tell someone like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you," or "I admire this," or "Look at this, you're doing so well," like I genuinely mean it, and you could feel the happiness that you have when you're telling someone how proud you are of them.
Yeah, and even when you see them actually accomplishing these things.
And because it's something, it makes you feel good inside.
Mm-hmm.
But then jealousy and all and envying, you definitely something doesn't feel right.
Jealousy and envy comes with some ill intent on the inside.
Yeah.
It doesn't come with a really good feeling.
No.
And what I was saying with that piece is like, I think there's a very thin line when it comes to admiration and envy and jealousy. I think there can be there can be a thin line there. Mm-hmm. And with the thing about admiration that I would say is really different is the fact of what I was saying was like, you could want these things for your life also. Like if I see my friends doing well, I could be happy for them, genuinely happy for them,
and wanting the same,
and still
thing.
want the same thing for my life. Like if I see them in a big house, I could be like, "Yo, I love your house," and really do admire the way that God has blessed them.
And you see the blessing through them,
and be like, "Yo, I'm amped that you got the house, you got the job, things are going good," and be like, "You know what? I can't wait for my time to come."
Yeah.
And not feel
Without
any way about it, and not be
Exactly.
envying to the point, because I feel like admiration is more about the happiness and celebration and less about I wish it was me instead. Like,
or
I wish it wasn't you.
Or resenting the person, just not liking the person because of their accomplishment or what
so
they
it's
have.
like with admiration, you have that genuine nice feeling that goes along with it, whereas jealousy and envy, there's always some sort of miscontent there. You always have something negative inside of you that goes along with it. So you can't really be happy for someone when you see them in certain spaces. You can't really be happy for someone if you're thinking about, that should be me and that shouldn't
And
be
not
you.
them.
You don't deserve it. You shouldn't be in there. So,
I
whew,
agree.
man, this is getting deep already. I'm already feeling like, wow, woo.
Yeah, it's
Man,
I like it.
Man, so this one's gonna be good. So, in your opinion, what do you think are some of the things that cause jealousy and envy?
Honestly, I feel like it could be like lack of like confidence. It could be also go hand in hand with a low self-esteem. And like just not having enough confidence, in yourself. I think those are things that cause that. And also thinking pride could be one of those too. Yikes. Because I feel like
the big P, pride.
I feel like pride is one of the things that also could cause those feelings. That's what I think for now. If I have something else to say, I'll jump right in.
I'm about to say something that might really just change the way you think about this.
Okay.
And this is kind of crazy because I was thinking about this. I think, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna explain it. I think that timing can cause a lot of these issues.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is
elaborate
this.
more.
Yeah. This is gonna be crazy where I go with this because I was thinking about this. I think that timing can cause some of these things. I think there's a few factors that can go into this. I think timing. Mm-hmm. I think purpose. Mm-hmm. And there's another piece to it, but I'll allude to that a little later. So, and disappointment. That was the third one I was looking for. Timing, purpose,
and disappointment.
I think those three things.
I could see disappointment.
Those three things can cause jealousy and envy quicker than anything else. And I said earlier, you know, there's a fine line between you have a very fine line between, you know, jealousy and envy, but I think you can also have a fine line between excuse me, between admiration and envy. And I'm gonna break this down because it's about to get real crazy for a minute. So I'll just start with this piece: the jealousy and envy part, the timing, point, the purpose, and the disappointment. Now, for me, when I was growing up, like with everything that was going on in my life, like I loved my friends. Like me and the friends that I had, I didn't keep a lot of friends, but the friends that I had, you know, I did
value them.
I did value them because they played a big part in the life that I lived and the life that I had, you know. But one of the things that I know growing up, and I talked about this in the book, it was like I used to be jealous that my friends had parents who didn't have the struggles that my parents had.
I could see that.
I used to envy my friends because their parents were different than my parents. But I still believe that I really did love and value my friends. But I think because of the timing of everything in my life and seeing how everything was,
I could see that.
It caused those feelings of jealousy and envy where it was like, but I think for me, nope, it was definitely jealousy. Because I was hating because I think this was my logic behind it. I'm like, we out here living the same kind of life. We out here doing the same kind of things.
But you
like, why do you got these good parents and I ain't got these good parents?
Yeah.
Why your parents ain't struggling with the things that like I used to be like mad.
But you know what? And I mean, like I feel like everyone go through that, you know, at some point in their life. Because I can also remember being younger and wishing that, you know, like I would have friends who have both their mom and their dad living together, and you know, their same mom and dad, you know, living together. Let's say their biological parents living together. And for me, I didn't have that, so I used to kind of envy and wish that was me. So I could see kids going through that even now, like looking at children, you know, having kids who their parents buy them whatever they want. Like, you want the latest Jordans, you want this, you want that, like, I'm gonna give it to you. I feel like there's kids now who will envy, like, oh, I wish my parents didn't just go to Payless or wherever, you know, to just buy my sneakers.
Do they even have Payless anymore?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I don't even think Payless is there.
You know, but I'm just saying, you know,
no,
because I also remember when I first came here from Jamaica, and it's like my first shoes that I got was from Payless. And I remember I thought I was like everything, walking in my heels, like, you know, and it was from Payless. And of course, the front was a little wider than the other shoes that you probably would have get at a different store, like DSW or whatever. The front was a little bit bigger and wider. And I, you know, so, and I used to make people used to make fun of me, like, oh, why your shoes look like that or whatever. And then you become envy, and you know, now you're aware that, so all your friends, whenever they have on shoes, the first thing you're looking at their feet to see what they're wearing, and then you're looking at yours and you're like, oh, mine definitely look different. So, you know, so that's what I'm talking about. So then you kind of grow a little bit of envy and, you know, there, but I don't resent my friends. I still love them. I still, you know, look up to them or whatever, but I could see that as a child. But I feel like it comes with maturity. As you get older, I feel like that feeling that you would have towards a person, like that envy or jealousy, I feel like as you get older and more mature, all that should kind of like, you should be able to control that.
I think the older you get, the more it changes.
Okay.
So let's touch on purpose for a minute. I feel like if people don't understand their purpose, it's easy to see someone else walking in their purpose and get jealous and get envious.
Yeah. Well, if they've been disappointed enough.
Oh, I didn't even touch on disappointment yet. I didn't even touch it. You try to jump on my point. But I wanna touch on purpose first. Now, This one's good. Purpose. I feel like if people don't understand their purpose, it's easy for them to be jealous of someone else. It's easy for them to be envious of someone else. So, for example, if let's say we were inanimate objects, just inanimate objects, right? Let's say I'm a hammer, you're a screwdriver.
Okay.
And one day you see me banging a nail inside of a table. Boom, boom. You're like, you know what? I want to be a hammer. You know, I don't realize I'm a screwdriver, but I want to be a hammer. I see how the hammer is banging those nails inside of that table. And I just feel like I want to do that. I feel like I should be able to do that. Why does the hammer get to have all the fun? You know, not realizing that your purpose is equally as important, but it's different. Because although, you know, a hammer can bang nails into tables,
a screwdriver can.
A screwdriver has a different purpose, but it's equally as important. You can use both tools to build things, but each one has its purpose. And I think with that piece is the same thing with people. Sometimes we don't realize the purpose that we have. And we see other people operating in their purpose, not realizing how valuable our purpose is. So then that causes us to be jealous because we may not have found our purpose yet. We may not be walking in our purpose yet. We may not truly understand the importance of our purpose yet, but in God's eyes, it's equally as important. And when we start to function in that, it becomes equally as important. So for example, if I'm not a singer, but I love music, and I see someone who sings and they sing well, it's easy for me to be like, I wish I had that gift. And why couldn't I have that gifting? Why couldn't I be the one singing up there doing this and doing that? Whereas, you know, let's say if, you know, my gifting's in administration is equally as important for the function of, you know, the kingdom. But, you know, I'm not operating.
Or any organization.
That's one thing that I am not gifted in. I can be real about that. If you... that's not my best trait, you know, it is not, you know, and I see you, for example, blow me out the water where it just be like, who's winning the administration game? It is not me. I will fail, but I've seen you able to balance certain things like a lot better than I am in that area.
We all have our gifts.
We all have our gifts. We all have our talents.
Yeah.
But it would be easy for me to, you know, if I loved seeing, you know, great administration, to look at you and be like, you know, oh my gosh, I wish I had that gift. I love the way she does it. And I think that should be me. I should be able to do that. I don't know why I'm not able to do that. Not understanding my purpose is different. Not understanding there's value in what, you know, God has created me to be. It's easy for me to look at what you're doing and see you doing it well and feel jealous and feel envious.
Yeah, it's true. Because then now, you know, you start trying to be like that person or walking into their purpose. And then
I want to walk in your shoes. And I want to walk on your path. And then you don't know why it's not working. Keep talking and tell them about it.
And then you're miserable because it's like, well, I'm doing this. It just doesn't seem like it's coming together, or it doesn't seem like I'm being effective, but not knowing that that's not your purpose. And you're forcing yourself to do that. You're forcing yourself to be something that you're not called to do.
You're not called to do.
And it's not going to work because you're not called to do it. So
you out here trying to be a hammer when God was like, you meant to be a screwdriver.
Yeah.
You ready to talk about that third one I was talking about?
Yeah,
disappointment.
Disappointment is a big one.
Oh, disappointment. Disappointment is huge. Disappointment is huge. And I feel like this piece is the one that gets a lot of people. And I think disappointment and timing go hand in hand. Because when we put things in our timing and when it doesn't come to pass the way that we want it to, when we want it to,
We get disappointed.
Disappointment comes kicking down your door like the SWAT team. It's like, hello, boom, my name is disappointment. Look at that. You thought it was going to come to pass like this on this day. Guess what? It ain't happening. How you feeling now, partner?
Yeah.
You disappointed.
You're disappointed.
You upset because the timing did not go the way that you wanted it to do. So now when you see other people, and this is the thing.
and it's their timing.
And this is crazy because it happens, and it happens to all of us at one time or another.
It's true.
Where we can see someone walking into their timing, walking and functioning in their purpose. And then we like, but God, what about me? And it's not to say that God doesn't have like his plans and his purpose for you, and it's not going to come to pass, but it's not your time. And when it's not your time, it's easy to get disappointed. It's easy to wonder, God, what about me? And it's easy to be like, but how come sister or brother so-and-so's doing this and this is going well for them and it's not happening for me? And boom, before you know it.
Yeah.
And and I can't stress this enough. It is very easy to find yourself in this space.
Yeah, it is.
You don't have to be bad. No. You don't have to be a bad person. You don't have to run around with ill intent, unforgiveness, or malice towards anyone. But you can easily find yourself in a situation where you are jealous of another individual. You are envious of another individual because of disappointments. Because the timing isn't going the way that you want it to go, and really not understanding your purpose.
Yeah,
and this could happen to any
and that honestly, and disappointment can allow us to lose out on the bigger picture, lose out on our purpose.
Oh,
because then it's like you give up. You're like, okay, I'm done. You're disappointed. I'm done. Like I've been waiting for so long, and nothing is happening.
That's disappointment, and it's twin. It's twin discouragement.
Yeah.
The 2 D's.
Yeah. I'm done.
Disappointment and discouragement, they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So you have to like really think about it and be careful of your mindset too. Because I feel like at one point or another, everyone experienced jealousy, envying. I'm just going to say those two. I feel like at some point or another, everyone had experienced that. But it's how. How do you go about it when you feel yourself gravitating to jealousy and envying?
Boom. Perfect segue to the next question. How can we overcome jealousy and envy?
I didn't even look at the questions that you have.
Yes. How can we? When we get to that piece, and that was a really good point that you made about, you being self-aware of knowing, like, listen, my mind's getting in this space.
And you got to pull yourself from that space.
How do we pull ourselves from that space?
Yeah. Because like we're human beings.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to feel some kind of way. We're going to see people walking into their calling and we're waiting for our time, and we're like, okay, God, what's going on? Like, I've been waiting. Like, people have been waiting to get married. Like, I've been waiting. Lord, I've been dating. I've been doing everything. I carry myself right. I get my hair done. I got my nails done. Like, I look good. I go to church. I don't see anybody in the church. God, I've been waiting. And you look around you, you see everyone getting married.
Everyone getting married.
Everyone getting engaged.
Everyone
and you're like,
getting
God,
engaged.
I've been waiting.
What's really good?
What's going on? It's easy.
It is.
It's easy to become jealous and envy. It's so easy. But then you have to realize when your mind start getting to that place to say, you know what, Lord? Exercise faith. Lord, I'm trusting you. I'm going to get it. Look at Abraham.
Lord, had that faith.
I'm trusting you.
So good you had to say it twice.
But it's hard as people to have that crazy faith.
It's hard to have it. it ain't even. I'm gonna be real. Sometimes it's hard to have regular faith. I ain't even touching it.
It's hard to have that mustard seed faith.
It's hard. Sometimes mustard seed faith be looking like a whole lot. It be looking like a whole lot.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not easy. So, but I really do feel like you have to become aware.
I think the awareness piece is huge.
And honestly, you have to be at the point where you can be honest with yourself.
That right there
to
is
say,
gold. Tell
yeah,
them again.
You gotta
have to be
you-
what?
You have to be at the point where you could be honest with yourself. Because I know for me, I check myself all the time. People, I check myself all
you gotta
the
sometimes
time.
you gotta really like have that real
Like
conversation
it was
with
like
yourself.
today I had to check myself.
You check yourself.
I had to check myself because I had to check myself to make sure that I'm not going down in a hole that I can't pull myself out of.
That's the rabbit hole. We talked about the rabbit hole last week too.
Because there's times that things come to your mind and people will do you dirt. People will just hate you for no reason because they're jealous or envious of you. And it's easy for the person who is being hated on to kind of want to hate back.
Mm-hmm. I don't like you either. You don't like me. I don't like you.
Yeah, it's really easy. But I had to check myself to say, you know what? This is not who I am. That's not who I am. So even though, and I feel like, a lot of times, and I'm going to say this because a lot of times it comes with like, you support people. And then when it's your turn, they don't support you.
They're like, support? What support?
It's
support from me?
easy to kind of flip. It's easy to say, you know what? Oh, I support you then, and now it's my turn and you didn't support me, and now you want me to support you? Oh, I'm not supporting you.
Done.
I'm done.
Done.
It's very easy to do that.
That's very true.
But then sometimes that could be mistaken to say, okay, it's jealousy or envying. But you have to be able to check yourself to say, okay, what is it? And then after you check yourself, you have to talk to yourself and be like, you know what? This is not who I am. Because if you're doing the same thing that you don't want that person to do to you, and
Then
you start
ain't no
doing
better.
it, then you're not no better. Exactly.
You ain't no better.
Exactly. But as human being,
Oh, yeah.
it's really not easy. So when someone do you dirt, it doesn't mean that you have to go back and do them dirt. It doesn't mean that because they didn't celebrate you, or because they hate you, or they show that they're envious or jealous of you, you don't have to show them that same,
reciprocate those same feelings.
Behaviors.
I gotcha.
Exactly. You don't have to do that, because then that makes you look like, you're the same. So, I don't remember what we were talking about.
We were talking about how to overcome jealousy and envy, and one of the things that you said that
Self-awareness.
I really like is the self-awareness piece, and this is why self-awareness is so important, because if you don't recognize how you're feeling, or if you don't recognize when you're feeling something negative, the devil will play that like the violin. Doo, doo, doo. Oh, you feeling bad? Guess what? I'm going to make you feel worse. I'm going to drag you down. I'm going to start putting thoughts in your head on top of the thoughts in your head on top of the thoughts in your head.
And it become your reality.
It will change your perception,
realistic,
which will then change your reality. So we have to be aware of the way that we're feeling and be able to jump on that before it gets worse.
Because you know what? I feel like at times when people don't jump on it and check themselves.
They keep going.
They keep going.
They keep playing
and then
the game.
Before you know it, it becomes who they are. You ever see people, you're like, you're just never happy. Does anything ever make you happy? And it's not that they're not trying to be happy. They want to be happy. They would love to be happy. But they're like so far gone. They're in the
rabbit hole. They can't pull themselves back out.
They can't pull themselves back out. And it's like, if you could just be a fly on the wall at night to see how tormented they are. Like they can't even sleep because of the fact that they're so far gone where their mind become this thing where it's like they cannot help themselves. Only Jesus alone could help them. And I believe that God can help you get back to that place where he wants you to be, to go back to having that mindset that he created you to have. Love, joy, peace, happiness, all those things, the fruit of the Spirit. But sometimes we just get so deep that we are far gone. We can't pull ourselves out. And that's when self-awareness becomes very, very important, because you have to be able to like check yourself.
You don't want to get left to that reprobate
You don't want to
mind.
nope, you don't.
Where you just
don't.
start thinking what you're thinking is what you're thinking.
Yeah. And as individual, we all know, like I've times when like, like you feel like somebody may, show like, okay, they did this or whatever. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And you could feel like, you're like, am I excited? And you
Am I
literally
just saying I'm excited?
Yeah, and you literally have to be like, and there's a lot of times I'm like, the blood of Jesus. Oh no, Lord, touch this mind.
Touch this
like,
mind.
Lord,
Let this
touch.
mind
I'm like, the
let
devil
this
is a
mind be
liar.
in me,
Oh
because
no,
it ain't where it's supposed to be right now.
And I'm sorry, like this is a Speak Life podcast.
We
speak
gonna
nothing
keep it
but truth.
real. It's
and
the
we're gonna keep it
truth.
real.
It's the truth.
Whenever I feel like I'm not happy for someone because of accomplishment or whatever it is, I had to check myself. I'm like, oh, the devil's a liar. Spirit, whatever spirit you are, you need to go somewhere. Like, you're not staying here.
And this is the thing. When we talk about the self-awareness piece. When you see someone accomplishing something or doing something, and when you see it,
you have to be honest with yourself.
When you see it, if you feel something in here that just don't feel like,
you gotta rebuke that. That's a spirit that's not of God.
Like, there's been times, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. There's been times where I've seen some things, and I feel the way, and I'm like, and I have to ask myself, I'm like,
why?
What's that about?
Yeah, like, why do you feel like this?
I'm like, hold up. I'm like, what's going on right now? I'm like, God, I don't know why I feel like this, but you're gonna have to help me,
because I don't like it.
Because I know what this feeling is,
and it's not of you.
I know what this feeling is.
No, you have to check yourself.
And even if it may feel like it may be warranted, God, I know what this feeling is, but you need to change.
Because
this.
sometimes, honestly, you can feel it, and the devil will give you every reason and
justification of it. You should feel
like that because look what they did.
Look how they act towards you. Acting brand new, like they don't know.
And the devil would say that, but honestly,
and the thing is, what we don't realize is like, the devil will find every justification. He knows exactly how you're feeling, what you're thinking. He pulls up the book of the past of everything that was ever done, flips through it, was like, what can I use to help them to stay in this mindset?
Yeah.
And be like, he's like, but remember, when you was trying to do this, and they was like, and you're like, but you know what, you're right, I should feel this way. And you're like, no.
I shouldn't do this.
Yeah, I should just like, so sometimes you got to tell yourself, I'll be like, hey, you're like, yo, you need to get it right, brother.
But what I always tell myself, because again, we're human beings. Mm-hmm. What I always tell myself, I'm like, Sheikah, you're not like them.
Oh,
you're not like them, so you're not gonna act like them. And when I have and whenever I'm checking myself, I call my name. I'm like,
just so you know that you're talking to you and not someone else.
I'm like, Sheikah, you're not them, so you're not gonna act like them. And at the end of the day, this is something else I always say to myself, like, you're a daughter of God, and you're going to try to be like him. You ain't perfect, but you're going to try your very best to be close to perfect. And I have to talk to myself like that. I don't know if anybody else,
I don't know. I'll be having to ask myself questions
like
too.
that.
I'll be like, okay, like, I'm like, why you fit? Bro, why you feeling like that?
Like, why?
Like, why you feeling like that?
And you may
Like,
have
huh?
a reason to.
Yeah.
But
I'm always
not
like,
worth
you know,
it.
I like Jonathan McReynolds. His music is, I know he has this song "People." He's like at the end of it, he's like, "Forgive me, Lord, when I'm one of those people," because I know there'll be times where we be one of those people.
And it's so easy to look at somebody else
Mm-hmm.
and to say, "Look at them."
Look at them.
Point the finger and say, "But what about
But
you?"
you forget about you.
You forget about yourself, and that's something that I always try to remember, that things may happen and that person is acting this way, but that doesn't mean that you have to act the way that they act. And when I find myself acting like that, I have to go back and say, Sheikah, stay in your lane. And I have to check myself.
Chiggity, check yourself.
So
Shout out to Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Now, like that one was big. That one was really big because that self-awareness piece is really huge. It is really, really huge. And with that piece, this is gonna be a tricky one because sometimes our minds will tell us how we really want to do this, but we're gonna do this the right way.
Okay.
How do you deal with someone who displays the jealousy and the envy?
You know what? I like to kill people with love. So if someone show me a side of them, and I have a lot of people who have seen a side of them, but you would never know, because I'm going to be consistent and I'm going to still talk to you, be cordial, whatever. I'm not going to hate on you. I'm not going to treat you the way you treat me. But I'm just always going to kill you with kindness. I'm going to show you kindness. Like right now, we're both going through something like that, where if you didn't know, you would not even, like, you wouldn't know that we know some of the things that you say about us. We know some of the things that, you know, you're doing. We know how you talk about us. Like, you wouldn't know because we don't show you any other side of us for you to suspect, like, oh, well, they probably, what's going on with them? We're consistent.
I think you do a much better job at that than I do. You know, I know for me, when it comes to people, when they show me a certain side of them, I think that's one of the things that I still struggle with. I can't even lie about that. When you show me who you are, it is very hard for me to act like that's not who you are. And I know that,
but you're still able to
no, and with that, like, you know, I can definitely,
I've seen you.
I definitely will be cordial. I'll definitely still, you know, be a decent human being. I'm not gonna sit there and walk by you like you don't exist, you know. But I think in instances like that, when people show me, you know, who they are and how they feel about me, at that point, I just kind of like keep my distance. For me, I think for me to protect my peace, I like to keep my distance. Love people from a distance. Yes, it's like I'm not holding any ill will towards you. I'm not talking about you. I'm not hoping anything bad for you. But for the sake of my peace of mind and my salvation, and me just not trying to flip because I know how you really are, I gotta love you from a distance.
Yeah. And honestly, it's not easy.
It's not.
It's not easy.
It is a gift. To be able to do that, it is a gift.
It is a gift.
It really
and I've
is.
learned.
I'm still learning.
Some stuff
I'm
where
still
I've
learning.
learned to pray for the people that I know don't even like me.
Pray for those who despitefully use you. That is
and persecute you.
Oh,
Like, I have learned how to still pray for people who I know don't like me, who I know could care less about me. And when I say pray, I mean, let me be very clear. I am still able to pray and ask God to bless you and just allow you to change from whatever ways that you have.
Oh, so
into
not
the
like
ways.
some of these God may wish you would.
Oh no! Oh gosh! I would not pray nothing bad.
No
for
bad
nobody.
prayers. No bad prayers. Because when
No.
you say pray, some people are like, yeah, I pray for them too. I'm praying that they miss that step and trip and fall.
No,
you know?
no. When I pray for people that I know hate me and don't like me, or for whatever reason it is, whatever jealousy, envy, whatever you have that I don't even know about.
And some of the stuff that you do know about.
Yeah, like I pray that God will change your heart to a heart like His.
Ooh.
And that's my prayer. God, if they belong to you, change them from their wicked ways. Let them see, God, when they lay down in their bed at night, let them reflect and see the ways that they have and know that they need to change their ways for better. God, work in and through them and make them a better person for you. That's my prayer.
That's a good prayer right there.
But I don't pray nothing bad for nobody. Even if I know you can care less about me, I do not pray bad for you. I pray that God, and especially if you have children, I'm praying God, cover their child, cover their children, bless their children, keep their children. Because the way that you are and the things that you do to people, I don't want it to follow your child. Because your children, they're innocent.
Ain't got nothing to do with
They
it.
don't have nothing to do with them.
Nothing to do with it.
You know, so listen, it's something I had to learn. God bless her soul. You know, and I pray that, you know, one day we'll be able to meet again. Not anytime soon, but
No
you know,
time soon.
my aunt Verna Green, she have taught me how to love people even if you know they don't like you.
And that's a
And she have
gift.
taught me how to pray
That is a
good
gift.
for people even if you know they're praying bad for you. So
That takes the love of God to be able to do that real true love for people to do.
yeah, because I'm not just thinking about myself when I'm not if someone done something to me, and for me to say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna do them back what they did to me. I don't just think about myself. I think about my children because I'm like, you know, God, I want you to cover my children.
Yeah.
I don't want the bad deeds that I've done. I don't want
To
to
fall
on my
them.
children.
It's true.
And even if it doesn't fall on my children, I don't
Maybe
want it to
the
fall on
grandchildren or the
my grandchildren or my
great-grandchildren or
great
generations
I
down.
don't want it to fall on them.
And they don't know what's going
And they don't
on.
know what's going on. So I try I'm not perfect now, but I try my best to not have a certain mindset where I'm thinking bad or praying bad about people. I'm not gonna lie. There's times when people really hurt you to the core.
To the core.
It hurts. But you know what? And sometimes the thought will come where you're just like, Lord, but you gotta catch that. You gotta catch it because the enemy,
He'll play on it.
he'll play on it.
Will
And not just that,
play
he'll
on
put things in your
it.
mind. He will put things in your mind. But again, you cannot entertain it.
Nope.
You cannot entertain it. So, you know, it's important to be aware and just to know when you feel like that envy, that jealousy or that, because of things that people have done to you, is coming on. Because it's not hard to happen. It's very easy.
And I can't stress on that piece enough. It's very easy to slide from a point of admiring into finding yourself at a point where you're like envious and jealous of an individual.
Yeah. And I want to say this, I know she's gonna be watching this and she probably will call me, but one of my best friend, she always remind me, because I'll share a lot with her and I'll tell her how people, I share stuff how this one treat me, how this one act towards me, how this one do whatever. And she know me from, Yeah, y'all are gonna know who she is. She know me from high school. She know how I used to be. You know, she know the Sheikah that a lot of people don't know. And at times when I share certain things with her, she'll be like, Sheikah, I don't even know, like, if I don't see anyone that God really changed and saved, it's like I've seen God change you. Because some of these things that you're telling me, the Sheikah that I know, wouldn't have even put up with that.
Yeah.
And
hey, God can change.
Yeah, and you know, and she's like, you have really like God has really changed you, and she'll stress on it, like God definitely changed you, because yeah, the Sheikah I know doesn't put up with stuff like that. But I've learned that if you're ignorant and you're fire and you're just arrogant, I'm not going there with you. I mean, a sister will cry. A sister will, like, I will cry and I will talk to God until there's no tomorrow. And I will pray and I will say, Lord, I'm leaving them to you. But you will not catch me out of my character, calling you and
that's
talking
a big
mess
thing.
and going on. You will not catch me arguing and sending messages back and forth to you. No, I don't got time for that.
All right, we're going to wrap with this question right here. You know, if you have someone who's struggling with jealousy or envy and you needed to give them some advice, if they just came to you and was like, listen, this is a struggle for me. This is hard for me. You know, I need something. I need you to just tell me something to help me to get through this. What would you tell them?
I think my first thing would be, I would say, you know what? Let us pray. And the reason why I say this, and I probably look crazy if I'm just some random person like this, but the reason why I said this, because it's like, you got to pray your mind into a certain place. You know, it's not just if this is who you are now and this is just who you've become, this person where you just have like a jealous and envious spirit, it's going to take a lot of prayer,
a lot,
to kind of drive out some of it. Because at this point, that's a demon.
Yeah,
that's a
something
spirit that's a stronghold that you take on. You're gonna need some prayer warriors to help drive out some of these thinking. And honestly, I would like tell them, like, just to start, like, maybe reading books that uplift you, books that talks about, you know, the purpose, giving them scriptures to read that reminds them that, you know, God is for us, and you know, and God is a God where He says, you know, show them the 10 Commandments. I don't know.
This one's a hard one.
This is hard.
This one's honestly.
But, you know, just encourage them then, and like share a few things with them. Like, it may not be your time, but, you know, there's something for everybody. You know, you don't have to be jealous over that person, because jealousy only brings bitterness.
And bitterness is dangerous.
You know, so yeah, I don't really know, but
I know this one. The advice piece on this one was hard, because there's so many different things that go into this, and how far gone the person is really does play a big factor in this. But if you have someone who's aware enough to know that they're struggling with this, I think for me, you know, there's two things that I would probably tell them. The first one would definitely be like, you know, they just need to know that God hasn't forgotten about them. Because a lot of times,
simple.
Yeah, it is.
God has not.
It is not, but it's
you.
simple, but it really does go a
long
great
way.
distance, because there's a lot of times where we see everything happening for everyone else, and we think like, somehow maybe by
God
chance,
has
God forgot
forgotten
about me. I've been praying and I haven't been seeing it, come to pass. Maybe he's forgotten about you. Nah, God hasn't forgotten about you. God will never forget about you. Your time will indeed come. And another thing I think I would tell them is, to just let them know that the purpose that they have on their life is just as valuable as everyone else's, in the same way that, there's something for them to fulfill. God has something for you to fulfill, but there's a big but, in spite of disappointments, God's timing is not our timing. Just trust and wait for God's timing to come. And, you don't have to worry about, what anyone else has, because what God has in store for you is amazing, and it is for you, and it's not going to miraculously bounce off of me or past me and go to you, but what God had, as the song says, what God has for me, it is for me. We don't own the rights to that song, but it still reigns true. What God has for you, he will bring it to come to pass in his timing, and your purpose is just as important as everyone else's purpose. And no matter what, no matter how it feels, no matter how it looks, God has not forgotten about
that's a word.
You.
Yeah, that's a word. That's a word. And also to know that there's a reason for everything.
There
so
is.
Even though you may want to get married, you may want to have a child, you may want to own that big house, you may want to, whatever it is, God sees ahead, and he knows. I know, like my aunt, she never have any children. She didn't have any children of her own, which she birthed. But she had many.
Yeah, because no one, you still can't tell me that wasn't my mama. We can, we go outside and catch a fade. You try to tell me that wasn't my mama.
So it's like
there's a purpose.
God will bring a lot of people around you for you to mother, even though you didn't have your own, you didn't birth a child. He'll give you plenty for you to show love, so there's a purpose for everything,
even when we don't understand even when it's painful,
even when it's painful.
Yeah,
everything is not the devil is holding us back or stopping us. Sometimes God is like, no, I don't want that for you.
Yeah, and
sometimes he's trying to keep you from trouble, and you're like, God, I want the trouble. And he's like, no.
When he says, like, honestly, when it says in the Bible, my ways are not your ways, neither are my thoughts your thoughts. He's like, as high as the east is from the west, that's how far my thoughts are from your thoughts. And some of the biggest blessings that we have really are unanswered prayer. Because if God would give us some of the things that we ask for, it would literally destroy us.
But we don't see it.
We gotta wrap. We gonna this. I told you this one was gonna get deep. Depending on the correspondence with this, we may have to go and do another episode with this. But we hope you enjoyed the episode. Remember, death and life are in the power of the tongue.
So make sure that you speak life. Always speak life.
Always speak life. Always speak life. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. We love to see the comments. We love to, correspond with our audience. So make sure you comment.
And don't forget to get your book, When Three Roads Collide.
If you haven't gotten the book, you are missing out. It is an amazing book, When Three Roads Collide. Go to 3roadscollide.com, see everything that we're doing. Become part of our email list. We'll send you out some messages just to check in, let you know we love y'all.
Amen.
So have a great week.
Have a great week.
And
God
we
bless
love you guys.